Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters. My name is Adam Torres, and if you'd like to apply to be a guest in the show, just head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to apply. All right, today I have Angel Henry on the line, and she is president of Angels Speaking, Inc. Angel, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right, Angel. So excited to get into today's topic. So we'll talk about leveraging the Agile mindset framework for DE&I initiatives. So we'll have some fun around this, and really, and I also want to talk about your book. So I saw you on LinkedIn, Dent in the Ceiling. So I see your book, and I'm a big fan of authors and writing books and getting the word out there. So definitely want to get some insight into that as well. But before we do, we will start this episode the way that we start them all, with our Mission Matters Minute. So, Angel, we at Mission Matters, we amplify stories for entrepreneurs, executives, and experts. That's our mission. Angel, what mission matters to you?
Oh, my goodness. Well, the mission that matters most to me is that every individual from an underrepresented population feels included at work. So our goal at Angel Speaking is to provide life-changing, career-enhancing knowledge and services to those from underrepresented populations with a focus on women.
That's great, and love bringing mission-based entrepreneurs on the show to share their mission, you know, why they do what they do, how they're doing it, and really what we can all learn and gain from that, so that we all grow together. So great having you on. And I guess just to get us kicked off here, what led you down this path of becoming an entrepreneur, specifically in the DE&I space?
Absolutely. So I have 20 years in tech, so you can imagine I was thinking to myself, entrepreneur, is this something that I really right? Like all of those things. But what was the catalyst for me was that I found myself as the only African American female on the leadership team at a cloud-based solutions company. And that old adage, "It's lonely at the top," is absolutely correct. And so I got some great career advice that helped me both personally and professionally. And that advice was simply just to write about your experiences. And at first, Adam, I was absolutely opposed to that idea. I thought that I was too busy. There was, hey, by the way, I have a 9-to-5 job, involved in all of the community service and on boards and, raising 2 kids, the whole 9. So for me to take time to just sit and think and to write was absolutely unheard of. But when I started doing it, I couldn't stop.
Wow. And so interesting to me. And I'm such a big fan of books, but I didn't start that way. So just like you said, where you're like, you were totally opposed to it. I was too at the beginning. So I always loved to hear this part of the story. I like to maybe take a quick little sidebar. And what would you tell, and because I preach it all the time. So I like to get, when others that kind of have the same similar story, I like to get them to do the preaching for me. So what would you tell to those other highly accomplished or, entrepreneurs and executives and just people out there? It doesn't have, not even relating to career, but just have experiences that they want to share and that they've always wanted to do a book but they just haven't done it yet. What would you tell them?
I tell them one thing. It's your legacy. It's your legacy. Your experiences, the way you see the world, what you have gained, the life lessons you have amassed through your career and through your personal relationships, it's quite literally the guidebook for the next generation. I mean, you don't want them to go through what hardships you went through. You want them to be catapulted, right? Like if it took for example, it took me a good 5 years of toiling to get to the management ranks that I was seeking. I would love for that next generation, for that to be cut in half for them, right? By just leveraging what myself and the other women that I researched and talked to for the book, take all of our lessons learned, turn into a guidebook for yourself, a playbook for what to do and what not to do.
What do you hope that your readers, walk away with after reading your book? Like, what are some of the things that you hope they walk away with?
Absolutely. So 2 things. For the readers that are like myself, right, African American, female, in an environment that is not inclusive, dare I say toxic, just in a workplace that's not supportive of them, that they don't feel alone, that they feel validated, that they feel seen and heard. And then for the audience that are in a seat of position, whoever you are, if you are managing a team of people and you have their careers and their career performances in the palm of your hand, and you have direct authority and accountability to help them through, that you increase your emotional intelligence by reading Dents in the Ceiling, that you increase your cultural competency by reading Dents in the Ceiling, and that you're able to ultimately be a more inclusive leader.
Yeah, it's I feel like works like yours. The thing I always like to tell people is, especially if it comes to books or podcasts, blogs, I don't care what the content is, Facebook Live, whatever. If you have a message or something you want to share, is that like your voice is so important. There's so many others, like my voice, your voice, like you don't know who's going to help somebody, but sharing your story and letting people have that feeling of connection or inspiration or otherwise, to me, like that's the power of what we're able to do just as humans, right?
Exactly. Thank you for bringing that up. I tell everybody what I do is just I teach people how to treat others as humans. It's really a calling to have folks kind of turn inwards and look at their heart and how it may have been hardened to people that don't look like them, that didn't grow up like them, that don't come from their same background. It's very easy to what we call other people and just kind of put them in a category and treat them how you want to treat them. And I get the honor to show them that wins, break down some of those walls, soften their heart, so that they see that other person on the other side of that, virtual call or the other side of that desk is a human being that deserves the same respect and honor and care and consideration that you would give yourself, or maybe if you didn't receive it, because we see a lot of that, Adam, right, where folks are like, hey, I got put through the ringer to get to where I'm at, so I'm going to make sure that I put you through the paces as well. A lot of hazing goes on in workplaces that we don't talk about because we want to make sure that people earn it, that they deserve that spot that we're going to give them, right? And that mentality absolutely jeopardizes the workplace and builds up walls. And so addressing that and tearing that mentality down is hard work, but critical, right? Because I didn't always have that done for myself, but sometimes I did. And I just want to be that person to pay it forward.
Yeah. Angel, let's shift focus slightly here for a moment. I do want to spend some time talking about your company. So Angels Speaking Inc. Tell us a little bit more about the company and what you do.
Yes. So Angel Speaking, you can probably hear the smile on my face. It's awesome because during the time that I was going through executive coaching, the one piece of advice that I will never forget that's a through line for the work that I do and that really the foundation of Angel Speaking is don't do it alone. Ally up, Angel, was really what my executive coach would tell me is, hey, you've got a great idea. You want to get this change through, but you can't do it alone. This is not something you can put over your shoulders and get across the line. And the work that I just described that we're doing, Adam, this is not work that any one person can do by themselves. No way. So Angel Speaking is a consortium of executive coaches, trainers. I even brought on LaDonna, who is an certified counselor, right? A licensed social worker that has practice and training in helping people with anxiety and depression and work-related trauma and navigating, a toxic work environment. Definitely takes its emotional and mental toll on you. And like I said, I'm a tech girl. So some of these mental health issues that people are experiencing in the workplace, especially post-pandemic, are to the point where they're diagnosable and clinical. And so bringing on someone onto the team that can help address that has been absolutely phenomenal. So we're a full service shop just by literally linking arms and doing this work together.
Wow. And where did you come up with kind of the idea of applying the Agile mindset framework to deliver services specifically in like the DE&I space? Because I find it kind of unique.
Yes, it is. So the cool part is I was, again, sitting in the seat as senior director in tech. My counterpart was promoted to vice president of DE&I for our company. And he picked up the phone and he's like, he was a party of one, right? Didn't have a team yet, just him. And he picked up the phone and was like, hey, Angel, that Agile stuff that you do? Yeah, I'm going to need some of that for what we're doing right now. And essentially what it is, it's not magic. It is a 4-step framework where you get results quickly. That's the key word. So there's a lot of diversity, equity, and inclusion practitioners that are skilled at quantitative and qualitative analysis, where they'll go in and they'll do interviews and they'll do a lot of surveying, and all that is absolutely needed, and applaud them for doing it. I again, part of my network is someone that does that. That's not what I focus on. I focus on getting results quickly. And when I say quickly, I'm talking 2 to 4 weeks. And again, you have to think my background is tech, moving fast, being innovative, bringing people from disparate areas together and different backgrounds, literally putting them in a room and saying, go, we have, here's the due date, make it happen. That's what I've done for well over a decade. So I just applied what I do there to diversity, equity, and inclusion. So I, go in and I'll talk with an organization, which this, by the way, actually happened and we were successful at. They wanted to diversify their candidate pool. They wanted to get more brown and black candidates and associates in for interviews, and they were struggling. And the first question I asked is, well, where do you have existing relationships? And they list all the universities and associations, and of course they were majority white. And I was like, okay, well, let's diversify that. So I use my network, we'll hop on the horn, and I will literally call the people that I know at our local community college, at HBCUs, and we'll start funneling their top candidates right to your hiring managers. We got that done, Adam, in 2 weeks. They were interviewing candidates within 4 weeks.
Wow. That's great. And I think that it makes sense, and it seems to me like more companies as time goes on will take advantage of things like your company and others that are really promoting DE&I initiatives. That being said, what type of companies do you typically work with? Do you work with small businesses, enterprise, middle market? Is it kind of agnostic on size of company? Like, give us a flavor for who is a good fit to get the most value out of working with you and your team.
Absolutely. I would say medium to large organizations, typically organizations that have a headquarters or a significant footprint here in the U.S., but that does not have to be the case. I'm working with a company now that's headquartered in the U.K. But having their their majority of their senior leadership be U.S. just helps with the cultural competency piece a bit. And then I would say in terms of sectors, financial services for sure. So like banks, for example, healthcare, hospitals. My background is healthcare and pharma. So pharmaceutical companies, small biotechs, hospital systems. Just the plethora of knowledge that's needed and training that's needed for continuing education around cultural competency for nurses and doctors is absolutely critical, right? And I tend to pull on the heartstrings a bit in the hospitals I work with because I had an extremely negative racist situation that happened when my grandmother passed away a few years ago. And I use that example as how we can do better with supporting our brown and black families that are coming into the hospital and trying to care for their loved ones and just trying to, bridge that gap there that currently exists, unfortunately, in our society. And then, of course, as you would imagine, tech companies, right? From small biotechs to large cloud-based software companies that, again, need to get results quickly. And they have business analysts, IT managers, architects that all speak different languages and use different acronyms, and they'll need somebody to come in and help translate. And that's where I come in.
Well, Angel, I just have to say I'm grateful that you're out there doing the work that you are. I think it's definitely needed, and we're definitely rooting for you over here at Mission Matters. And I just, if somebody's listening to this and they want to learn more or they want to connect with you and your team, and to follow your journey and to follow the content, what's the best way for them to do that?
Oh, absolutely. So 2 things. I would say definitely go to the website, Angel, ANGEL -Henry, HENRY.com. There you will be able to sign on, get to us. You'll see all what I call all the internets, right? On that website, you'll be able to find me on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube. I put out videos every Friday. So for those of you that are in HR or the DE&I office in your organizations and you're like, hey, I wonder if Angel or one of our speakers could come in and do a training or a workshop or what have you for us to help us along our inclusion journey, info at angelspeaking.com, that's 2 S's in the middle, is how you'll get a hold of us. And we would love to hear what your ideas are for your organization and how we can come alongside and help.
Fantastic. And we'll put all of that in the show notes so that our audience can just click on the links and head right on over. And if somebody wants to pick up your book, I'm assuming going to Amazon, or is it on the website as well, or what do you do there?
Yes, Amazon for sure. Yeah. I just send people to dentsintheceiling.com, and that will take them directly to Amazon for ordering. Absolutely. And if you go to my personal website too, there are 2 free journals, companion journals that go along with the book to help you take some of those concepts that are in the book and really apply them to your specific career situation.
Fantastic. And we'll put that information again in the show notes. And and speaking of the audience, if this is your first time with Mission Matters or connecting with the platform or listening to an episode, we're all about bringing on business owners, entrepreneurs, and executives and having them share their mission, the reason behind their mission, why they do what they do, and what we can all learn from that. So the whole point of Mission Matters and the platform is for us all to learn and grow together. If that's the type of content that sounds interesting or fun or exciting to you, we welcome you. Hit that subscribe button because we have many more mission-based individuals coming up on the line, and we don't want you to miss a thing. And Angel, really, it has been a pleasure. Thanks again for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate your time.